YouTubers and weavers. I'm putting a small warp onto my Ashford 8-shaft table loom. First, the obvious question should be, why am I using this loom and not the big Louette loom? And the answer is real simple. This is going to be a turned twill, so it's effectively an 8-shaft design, and that requires setting up 8 treadles with 8 shafts, which is a lot of tie-up under there, and all I'm making is a scarf. So I decided it's going to be a lot easier to just do it on this table loom, where yes, I have to pull multiple levers, but I think it's going to be easier than the one job I dislike the most on the Louette, is tying up the shafts. So I'm using this one. That's my logic, and you may or may not have the same logic. But anyways, so this is going to be a wool scarf. It'll be about 11 inches wide. It'll be turned twill. I'm using a red, a green, and a purple, and then a green and a red to balance it out. I'll show you the pattern on the computer, and what for you will be about a minute, and for me maybe a day or two, or maybe an hour, I don't know. Depends on when I feel like going back to the computer. Okay, YouTubers, here we are in Tempo Weave. Let's open up this plan, go down to here. I originally made it as a 3-in-1 twill with a tie-up. That would be that area there. But then I converted it to a lift plan because I'm using the table loom. So we're going to open the lift plan version. There it is. A few things to note. It's an 8-shaft loom, so you can see I've got 1 through 8 there, but look at, there's a 9 up here in this corner, and a 9 way over here in this corner. There is no shaft 9. That just reminds me in the pattern that I will be using a floating selvage. I've also added an extra thread in the outside block on each side. That's on shaft 4, just to make the very outside block a little bit wider, because I know that those tend to get drawn in a little bit when you're actually weaving. So that'll bring it up to being equal to the rest of them. You can probably see that my A block is shafts 1 through 4 right here. And you can see that with the white weft threads being predominant here. My B block is shafts 5 through 8. And you can see that with the green warp threads being predominant in this area right here. And of course, that's based on using the first block of the lift plan, or what would be the tie-up. And then of course, this is the second block of the tie-up where you're working with the other set of shafts. So that gives you your 1 and 3 and your 3-in-1 twill. I guess I'd call this 1 and 3 and this 3-in-1. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can never remember. But this is the lift plan that we've got. I'm scrolling down through it, just far enough to give you an idea. And that is the lift plan. So anyways, like I say, this will be 3-1 and 1-3 turned twill. I thought of using this pattern simply because when I attended a Wisconsin hand weavers Zoom meeting last weekend, they had a presentation on turned twill, which I've done before in some of my other videos, but I just hadn't been thinking of doing that right at the moment. And after looking at that presentation, I said, yeah, you know, that'd be a pretty easy one to do for a scarf. And this yarn is stuff that I was given a year or two ago, and I just never decided what I wanted to do with it. So now you know what I'm doing with it, at least. And well, you can see what the colors are, and you'll see better how they're going to look in turn twill when we get to the weaving. But that's enough of an intro to this. Now this loom, by the way, I thread this loom front to back. I think you've noticed that before in my videos. My Louette, I always do back to front. This one, I just find it easier to thread front to back. So, enough of that for now. I want to get back to getting this yarn through the reed and then through the heddles and tie down to the back. What have I done here? So I still have a cross in my warp, but it doesn't go on leaf sticks, it goes over my fingers. And I am going to cut these threads one at a time, because I'm threading it through the reed one thread per dent. Can you hold that one? Okay, there's one little chunk of thread through the reed. We're going to tie a slip knot in the end just so it doesn't get pulled out. And then I'll continue on threading. YouTubers, I'm finally weaving on this thing. I've had to make some changes. I originally started out with a 10 dent reed and felt that it was too packed together, just too tight this way. So, and proof of that was when I started weaving, it was really elongating that way. So And sorry, I know the light's kind of funny here. I've got bright sunlight coming in the windows. Suffice to say, I untied it from the front beam and reslate it to an 8-dent reed. But the problem with that, if you can call it a problem, is that this scarf that was going to be about 11.5 inches is now going to be 14 inches wide, which is a little wider than I'd normally make a scarf. The good news, hopefully, is that since it's wool, I'm going to wet finish it and hopefully it'll felt up a little bit and shrink. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I'm hoping that, given it'll have a little bit of draw in as well, that we'll get down in the neighborhood of 12 inches. That's a guess. So let's do just a little bit of weaving. And oh, the other thing is, I found that my weft yarn wasn't as thick as my warp yarn, so I decided to do double weft threads in here. So that's why I'm using this shuttle that's got 2 bobbins in it. And we'll just do a little bit. Now, one neat thing about using a table loom like this, when you're using the floor loom and the treadle happens, you're moving every shaft every time. But on this one, I'm not. If you notice, the next thing I want to do is have 2 up and 3 down. But I'm not going to move 1 and 4. So 2 goes up, 3 goes down. No problem. Same way over here, I want to have 6 up and 7 down. 5 and 8 are not going to move at all. So that's kind of a little side benefit, if you will, of using a direct tie-up table loom. Now we're going back to this and this. And again, you notice I didn't move everything. So we'll do I only move the shafts that actually change. The ones that don't change don't get moved. And we'll do this one more time, and that will finish this block. 12 throws in it, although I don't really throw the shuttle. That's enough of that for now. So let's move the camera just a little bit. There I am. And again, the light is atrocious. I know. Too bad. So just a couple other points. I'll do a second video finishing this up, showing you the final results. So in a few days, maybe a week, who knows? Depends on how fast I weave. One or two other comments. In the last few videos, I've had people comment that they think I'm not looking too good, that I'm looking sick. I feel perfectly fine. To the best of my knowledge, I am perfectly fine. I mean, you know, let's face it, I'm not as young as I once was. But aging is a good thing because it beats the hell out of the alternative. So I'm not complaining about that. And that having been said, we'll catch you the next time around on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up. There we go. There's the thumbs up. And until the next time on YouTube, bye-bye.